Skydiving sends thrill seekers hurtling toward the Earth at 120 miles per hour. But what happens when things get a little too thrilling before you even let the plane? November 2nd, 2013. It's late afternoon at Richard I. Bong Memorial Airport in Superior, Wisconsin. Skydivers Chad Ebling and John Rodrigo, along with Amy Olson and Trish Roy, are with 5 of their friends preparing for their last jump of the day.
We spent all day jumping with each other, having a lot of fun.
It was right around sunset because it's the last jump of the day. Let's do something special.
As the sun goes down, the 9 skydivers take off in 2 separate planes to complete what is called a formation jump.
The plan for the skydive was the 4 people in the lead plane exit their aircraft, and we would dive down to them and form a big round star formation.
Once the 2 planes reach about 12,000 feet, the skydivers prepare to jump.
I was in the lead plane, so we started our climb out.
But in the trailing plane, Chad realizes something is very wrong.
We saw them getting closer than they should have been by a lot, and that's when we knew there was no coming out of it.
Suddenly, the 2 planes collide. Here's another look. In the lead plane, the impact knocks the skydivers off the wing. While from the trailing plane, 2 cameras capture the impending collision and how quickly tragedy can strike.
I could hear like metal screeching, stuff's on fire, exploding all around you. As I was falling, I thought that I might be the only one that was left alive.
It became survival mode because once we were out of the plane, there was nothing I could do for anyone else.
So most experienced skydivers typically release their parachutes at around 3,000 feet above the ground. This accident occurred at about 12,000 feet, so these pros had some time to gather themselves and try to survive this crisis. That being said, something obviously went wrong here. But what? And what happened to the people involved? Could the wind have blown these planes together? Specifically, something called wind shear, which is when the wind suddenly blows harder or in a different direction, knocking the plane off course.
If wind shear was an issue, what you would see is violent movement and maneuvering. You'd see the horizon go back and forth and up and down, and you'd see the airplane move around in a very erratic fashion, being affected by a wind shear.
But we don't see that in the helmet cam footage. So if a natural wind didn't cause the collision, could it be the air the lead plane left in its wake?
Wake turbulence involves the airflow as it's coming across the wings that can disturb the air behind it. However, that's really limited to when you have smaller recreational aircraft moving close to a giant, C-47, something like that. But both aircraft are the same size.
Instead, there could be a far more mundane explanation.
They are like on 2 ends of the letter V moving towards the common point. Just as when you're sitting in a car, you can't see all points around you. In a word, these planes are in each other's blind spot.
It's kind of a cardinal rule from pilots. You don't move where you can't see. Normally, the procedure for aircraft flying in formation is if the trailing aircraft's lost the lead aircraft, you do whatever is necessary to regain sight of that aircraft before changing direction or altitude.
The NTSB determined the probable cause of the accident was the failure of the in-trail pilot to maintain visual separation from the airplane in front of it. It turns out that both pilots were not properly trained with regards to proper separation standards and formation flying for parachute operations.
With so much that went wrong, you'd expect mass casualties here. But Chad and John, along with all the other skydivers, including the pilots, were safe.
It was really kind of joyful to see everybody, like one at a time, make it down with no broken bones or serious cuts.
As much as went wrong to make this happen, I think there's more things went right.
Our takeaway? Pilot error. The NTSB report made that perfectly clear. But don't think that'll stop any of these skydivers from jumping again. All I can say is, better you than me.